All right, back to work. No, we're not done just yet. We get some more money to make tomorrow morning, don't we? And boy, the markets obviously love what they saw from the election on Tuesday. These big moves going up and up and up this week. At this point, it seems like everyone's waiting to buy a pullback, right? Now, pullbacks, they sound so easy. Just buy the dip. Just buy the pullback. But we all know by now, at least we should know by now, buying that perfect pullback is a lot more difficult than it sounds, isn't it? So the good news, though, is I have one simple chart pattern I always look for, help us time the perfect pullback, pick that perfect pullback entry to make some money tomorrow. I'm going to cover the entire roadmap in tonight's video. By the time we're done tonight, we've used a game plan to make some money on Friday morning as well. So charts look fantastic tonight. The roadmap's ready. Enough of the intro. Let's go make some money and finish up the week with some more winning trades on Friday morning. S&P and SPY is ready in front of me right now. NASDAQ triple Qs are all ready for me. I have three very simple but very important clues on the charts here tonight that are telling me where I think the winning trades are coming out for us tomorrow morning. One of those big clues is right here on these hourly time frames. You can easily see right now we're overall bullish on the S&P and SPY, overall bullish on the NASDAQ and the triple Qs. One of three big clues is this overall directional bias on the higher time frame. This tells us the overall momentum direction, a big clue for tomorrow. But you know what though? These hourly charts are easy, right? They give us direction. They're not gonna help us time the best entries for tomorrow. I have two even more important clues to time entries and pick that perfect pullback. We're going to cover that in a lot of detail here in a moment. Before we do that though, let's check schedule for tomorrow. We have a Friday trading session tomorrow. There are two things on my mind for tomorrow. First things first, consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock Eastern time. That oftentimes will be a big market catalyst on a Friday morning. That's one thing on my mind for Friday morning. Second thing though, more importantly, tomorrow's a Friday. My goal on a Friday is to get in as early as I can while liquidity's good, but I always try to leave a runner on Friday afternoons. Go back and see for yourself. About half the time, half the Fridays, they make these big runs into the afternoon. So two things on my mind for tomorrow: consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock Eastern time, be aware of that, and my Friday mindset. Get in as early as I can and leave a runner, because go see for yourself. Fridays, they love to run and run. A well-placed run on a Friday afternoon can make your entire week. Now, let's get back to our charts though, because I mentioned earlier, I have three clues for you tonight. One clue is right here on these hourly charts. Let's now dig into our tick charts right now, because the hourly charts are great, but they only give us overall direction. Let's talk tick charts. Now, tick charts are based on volume, they're based on transactions, and they make entry timing, pattern recognition a whole lot easier. This is a 7,000 tick chart, by the way. All the time frames you'll see in the upper left-hand corner, and that yellow line right there, the only indicator I use is the 21 EMA. A lot of easy ways to make money with only that one simple indicator. I promised two more important clues here on the tick charts right now. One big clue is the size of that move. Now, anytime we see a big move like this, I don't want to buy high. I want to buy low. Whenever I see a big move like this, I always look for a two-legged pullback and a retest of the high. We saw one back here earlier on in the week. Big move up, two-legged pullback, and a retest of the high. We do not need to reinvent the wheel on this, folks, right? Anytime we see a big move, two-legged pullback and a retest of the high, that's one very big clue. Final clue, which I think might be the most important clue on the chart in front of us, you'll notice range right there. Range right there, range right there. Now, why are these important? Well, because ranges act like magnets. And whenever we see ranges stacked on top of each other like this, what happens is the most recent range becomes the magnet. The previous range becomes an area for a breakout pullback. So the most recent range is up here. That's your magnet right now. The previous range is right for a breakout pullback. So put those two clues together right now, and I can easily see see 4 ways to make money in this situation on Friday morning. Now, let's talk my favorite out of all 4 of those right now. It's a 2-legged pullback off that high. Now, 2-legged pullback. When I say 2-legged pullback, the goal is to see a measured move. Think about a measured move, A, B, C, D. Now, that's going to give me the general area. But the one thing about these 2-legged pullbacks is sometimes they go a bit further than that. I can't predict the bottom on that. I'm not going to pick a bottom. What I always do is I like to use bear traps down here, right? Basically trap the bears in and run back up. Now, when I say bear traps come in lots of different shapes and sizes. So for example, one of my favorite bear traps after we get that 2-legged pullback is what I call a failure pattern. I find my 2-legged pullback. I don't pick the bottom on this because it might keep going a bit lower. What I'll do is I'll wait for the price to pull back to that 21 EMA. This is where the magic happens. At this point, this is a horrible spot to be selling because we've now pulled back after these 2-day big moves going higher. Trap those bears in. Let them try once. Let them try twice. Why twice? Because now I got you trapped. Now I know where your stops are, and I can use those stops to fuel that move going higher. In my experience, so much easier to make consistent money. Don't pick a bottom on that. Don't use indicators for it. Trap the bears in, squeeze those stops. If you're caught short on this, only way out is to buy your way out. Now, another version of a bear trap is as we go back higher. Remember, the market right now wants to go back and take out that high, doesn't it? Okay, as it makes its way back to that high now watch for this pattern. This is a technical bear trap. I want to see a shallow pullback and a higher high in price. It'll barely come back to the 21 EMA. Once I have that higher high in price, then I want to look for an entry right below that low. This is called a technical bear trap. 2-legged pullback, failure pattern, then either add more to it. I like to add to my winning trades on that bear trap. Great example right there. We go up, shallow pullback, higher high in price, no surprise, everyone jumped in right below that low, okay? So failure into trap combination. Target, of course, now is back up to retest the high. That is one of 4 trades I'm watching for tomorrow. The second trade for tomorrow is very similar. I want to get that 2-legged pullback. Oftentimes, I'll get the bears trying once, the bears trying twice. We'll get a nice, easy winner out of that running higher, but oftentimes that move down is so strong. What'll happen is I'll get my 1-to-1 first target. I'll move my stop up to my point of entry. It's a winning trade, but what ends up happening is the market comes crashing back down and takes out that low. Oftentimes, that leg and that leg are symmetrical. Now, let me ask you, is that a good place to sell? No, right? It's such a bull market right now. This is a gift to the buyers out here. We're now at a lower price. Anybody who sells here be taking their profit down here. Sellers up here become buyers down here. Do it again. Another round of those bear traps. Another bite at this apple. Bears try once. Bears try twice. Again, don't pick the bottom. Squeeze those stops with that failure pattern. And then remember, as it rotates going higher here again, it wants to go back and take out that big high, doesn't it? Now, watch that shallow pullback, that higher high in price, and you want to get right below that prior swing. As I teach in our free video classes, I want to see a strong green candle closing back above that moving average. That is one of my favorite trades. I call these double bottom retests, right? Double bottom retest. It's a failure into trap combination. Now, another variation of this bear trap, a lot of times, guys, we see a 2-legged pullback, but we don't get that 1-2 back up again. What happens is it begins to V bottom, right? It'll V bottom off that low and begin to grind going higher. These can be very challenging on our discipline because you're going to feel like you've missed that when you definitely have. There's no good entry at that bottom. The next best thing though is, watch closely here, draw a trend line off the highs, bring it down off that low. Now look left, find one of these prior swings. I mentioned earlier a bunch of bear traps. It's another version of a bear trap. Now, this could be any of the entry patterns you guys are learning in the free video class. It could be a bear trap like this. It could be a failure pattern, a pullback combination. Again, if you guys have been to the video classes, you know the entry patterns already. So again, I'd like to trap the bears in down there, but sometimes there's so many buyers down there, it kind of V bottoms and whoop right back up again. The key is don't chase after it. I want to buy as low as I can. To do that, find that channel and don't miss that first test, that bear trap a little low. That is my favorite trades here if we don't get that bear trap off the low here. Now, I have one more trade I'm going to talk about. Before we do that though, let's slow down for a second because I know that most of you guys and gals watching right now, you know these entry patterns. You're making money with these already. But if you're here for the first time right now, this might be a brand new language I'm talking right now, a brand new strategy. What are bear traps? What are failures? Don't you worry, guys. I teach the entire roadmap, the entire strategy. I have a ton of trade examples included in our free video classes. I'll put a link up top there for you. Don't you worry. Upper right-hand corner, grab that link that popped up there and take that free trading course because the strategy I teach in that short video series will teach you a simple trick we use in our members trade room that tells us where the winning trades are going to be each day. More importantly though, I want to teach you my 4 favorite entry patterns, help you time better entries, start making a lot more money consistently. Guys, the markets are way too good right now not to be making consistent money each day. If you're tired of missing the best entries, if you've lost your confidence in your current trading strategy, again, hit that link that popped up there. Take that free video course. Everyone loves all the trade examples of traps and failures and two-legged pullbacks I include in that short video series. And don't forget too, guys, I'm going to put all the important links tonight in the description of the YouTube video. I'll put the free class links down there. Start first there. Learn the roadmap. Everyone loves the free video series. Also, too, we trade together every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'll put trade room membership information there. And boy, I post a lot of videos and charts, mindset stuff on Twitter or X throughout the day. If you're on Twitter X, give me a follow again. All the details you'll need to learn more about this stuff. A lot of trade examples of this and hopefully earn a lot more because of it are linked up in the description of that YouTube video. Okay, so where did we leave off right now? I talked about the two-legged pullback, right? It's one of the easiest ways to consistently make money. I mentioned earlier here, anytime we see a big move like this, right? Two-legged pullback, trap the bears in and squeeze those stops. We don't need to reinvent the wheel here. And I gave you guys some variations of that as well. Now, what if we don't get that two-legged pullback? Oftentimes what happens in these scenarios is we get one big leg going lower. If we get one big leg going lower, what's going to happen is the bears are going to try to complete that two-legged pullback, right? We have to respect the potential of that deep correction off the high right now. In this scenario, I'd be very careful buying right here because, again, the bears are going to want to get that next leg going lower. In these scenarios, this one pattern to look for, it's another variation of a bear trap. It's called a 2-try trap pattern. It's 1 try for the bears. It's 2 try for the bears. Now pay attention to this one. It's a higher high in price and move right below the low in between. A nice strong green candle closing back above the 21 EMA. And that is in the event where all we get is one leg. All right, makes sense, right? I want one leg. I want 2 leg. I want trap those bears in and whoop right back up to retest the high. If we get 1 leg going lower, the strength of that 1 leg is going to want to complete that 2-legged pullback. So wait for the bears to come in and commit once, twice. Why twice? Because again, now I know where their pain is, right? Now I know where those sellers turn into buyers. The key here though is, guys, I want to get in underneath that low. I want to be in this thing by the time it takes out that high. I don't want to be buying as it goes higher up here because again, what's going to happen is it'll pop up and then run back down again. I already want to be in the green on that trade by then. Does that make sense? That's why shallow pullbacks require this 2-try trap pattern to avoid buying into what is oftentimes a bull trap on that second leg going lower. Then then we get that big run going back up again. Does that make sense, guys? So a bunch of bear traps, but some variations of those. And again, I have a lot more examples of those inside the free video class I mentioned earlier. Now, how about some NASDAQ? NASDAQ is similar to the S&P, but it's a little bit different. Let's go to the NASDAQ here right now. Boy, look at that NASDAQ all the way back to those all-time highs. And what an incredible rotation we saw here. If you guys watch these videos every evening, been watching this rotation, what an insane rotation off of that low. My goodness. Now, before I dive into the NASDAQ here tonight, if you're enjoying the video right now, please help me grow this channel by hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing this video link with other trading buddies. Guys, that makes a big impact on my channel because YouTube rewards me every time you like, share, and subscribe. Guys, I get it. I know we're all busy people these days. I appreciate you guys spending a few minutes with me every evening on these videos. So thank you so much for the likes, subscribes, and all of your support. Now, let's get back to business and talk about NASDAQ. Let's go to the tick charts right now. Over on the tick charts right now, I've got two more important clues here. The first one is the size of the move, right? Anytime we see a big move like this, I don't want to buy high. I want to buy low. And anytime I want to buy low, I always look for that two-legged pullback. Okay, that's a big one. Big clue there. The other clue is notice how it pops up and starts to grind going higher. Now, I talked about this pattern a few moments ago when I talked about that V bottom off of that low. Remember that pattern before we talked about earlier? How you draw off the highs, bring off that low, right? Mark off those swings and don't miss that first test is the best test. This is kind of the same idea, right? So we draw that trend line now off of these highs. We bring it down around those big lows down there. And you can see right away here, right? That swing right there, that swing right there. So I'll tell you, with this situation we see right now on the NASDAQ, I would love to get that two-legged pullback. Again, think about a measured move, get down around, in all reality, it could be this channel low. There's a range back there, right? Remember, anytime we see a range here and a range there, right? It's the new range is the magnet, a breakout pullback. I mean, wouldn't that be a great spot for a nice bear trap down there? And again, don't forget, we're not going to pick the tops and bottoms, right? We don't do that. We wait for the two-legged pullback. I don't know how far it will go. All I do know, though, is that once it goes lower, it's going to feel very bearish. And rookies, like I used to chase these things going lower all the time, rookies will get confused with this, thinking this is a reversal. It's just a pullback after this insanely big move we've seen the last 2 days. I'm going to trap those bears in, use that failure into that trap combination. Remember, when you see that separation off the moving average, separation equals strength. Find that higher high, that trap below that low. A lot of examples of those inside of the free video course. Again, I call these failure into trap combinations after that two-legged pullback. And don't forget too, a lot of times we get kind of lucky on these. A lot of times we'll get a really sharp two-legged pullback. We'll trap the bears in. We'll get a nice easy winner running higher. But what happens oftentimes though is we hold the underbelly, right, of these moves, kind of that what was support becomes resistance. It's a winning trade. It's a winning trade, right? We take our one-to-one, get rid of risk. But again, what happens now is it runs back down and takes out that low. Now, oftentimes it'll retest that low and just bounce right back up again. Keep in mind too, sometimes this ends up being one leg, two leg down, right? So again, we have to pull back a bit deeper here, right, and attract in more buyers sometimes. So as we go back to retest that low, it's important to remember that this is not a reversal. It will take a lot more than this after such a big move we saw the last 2 days. More importantly, think about the people in the market. Anybody who sells right there, they're taking their profit. They're buying their way out of that trade back on that retest, or buying their way out of that trade once we reach a measured move here. So this is the last place. This is the last place I want to be selling, because sellers are buyers down there when they take their profit. And again, I have no crystal ball. I can't pick the bottom on that. I'll wait for that same one to trap those bears in, that failure into trap combination. And I know that people want variety. I know people want different trade ideas here, but guys, welcome to trading, right? Trading is repetition. Once you find stuff that works, you keep on working that system over and over again, and this is the way the markets behave, right? Big two-legged pullback, trap the bears in, and right back up to retest the high. One of the more challenging trades, though, one more challenging kind of perfect pullback trades here. Again, we oftentimes do see that two-legged pullback, and there's so many buyers down there, it just kind of whoop and runs right back up again. When that happens, it almost always begins to grind going higher. These are pretty easy as long as you don't chase after them, right? Because you don't want to chase after them. You want to wait for that pullback now. And again, my favorite trade is get underneath that low. That's always my favorite entry off of this. And unfortunately, I can't teach all the entry patterns in this video. That's why I have that free video class for you guys to learn the entry tactics we use in our trade room. But again, there'd be a bear trap pattern, a failure pattern. Oftentimes what happens is these get below that 21 EMA. It's a bear trap pattern. The bears will come in, they'll short this thing below. We'll use their stops to fuel that move, failure into pullback combination. Again, I just want to make sure I get in off the first test off the low of that channel, leave that runner back to those highs. Again, tomorrow is a Friday. And again, last but not least here, if all we get is a strong shot down, remember that strong shot down is going to want to complete that two-legged pullback. So while it's doing that, trap those bears in once, twice. Remember, higher high. It's so important that as you're trapping in these sellers, it goes higher, because as it goes higher, that's where sellers are, right? Sellers want to sell high. Let them try once. Let them try twice. And again, I want to get in right below that low for that squeeze running right back up again. Shallow pullbacks or in this case, in a one-legged pullback, we have to respect the potential for a two-legged pullback because we're so high up right now. Shallow pullback, one leg pullback. It's always that two-try trap pattern. I want to be in this thing as low as I possibly can, because oftentimes it'll make that run up and then roll over, right? I don't want to be caught buying it as it goes higher here. I want to buy as low as I possibly can. And as you guys know, if you've been through our free video classes, trap entries, technical trap entries are always the most effective way to buy as low as possible. And when you buy low like that, you avoid those bull traps. You avoid walking into that bull trap, which oftentimes rolls over because we're so high up after those big moves the last couple days here. Right, guys? That's the game plan for picking that perfect pullback for tomorrow. I'll give you guys a bunch of variations of this on things I'll be watching for tomorrow in our trade room. Now, don't forget, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, guys, come trade this stuff with us. The easiest way to make money in these markets, to learn and trade along every morning in our trade room. I'm going to put all the important links you need to learn more. I'll put everything down in the description of the YouTube video. Hope you learned a bunch here tonight. Hope you use this knowledge to earn a bunch tomorrow's morning. Hopefully I'll see you sometime soon and trade with us in the morning trading. And obviously, hopefully you guys have a great holiday weekend if I don't see you guys tomorrow in our trade room, guys. Meantime, be well out there. Be nice to each other, will ya? And be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye for now.